Alright, so again, you should have been able to do 1, 2, 3, and 4 on page number 4 in very similar fashion. The answers should have varied somewhat. I actually don't know how much because I didn't actually work them out myself before I assigned them to you. But what we're going to do now is we're going to look at the dominant strategy here. But to figure out the dominant strategy, you have to know what it is. And also to figure out the Nash equilibrium, you have to know what it is. So you need to write these two things down here. The dominant strategy is the first one we're going to do. Dominant strategy just means that no matter what the other player does, you are going to make the same decision. So when we just looked at the golden balls example, the guy should have stolen no matter what the girl did. And the same for the girl. That means that they both had a dominant strategy to steal, regardless of what the other player did. So if I take a second and I go back, let's see if I got it right here. If you look, remember, so we said the guy's dominant strategy is to steal. So when the girls split, he had to choose between 50K and 100K. So he chose steal. That's the orange star there. When the girl stole, he had to choose between $0 and humiliation or just $0. Took the $0. So notice, the stars are both times in his steal category. So this is his dominant strategy. And if you look for the same for the girl, her purple stars are in the same row. She has a dominant strategy of stealing. They both have a dominant strategy of stealing. And if we know that they both should steal all the time, then this box down here becomes what we call the Nash equilibrium. All right, that's where they're going to end up. They're going to both end up stealing. They're going to both end up going home with squadoosh, which may seem like that is the dumbest thing in the world, but following their dominant strategies and thinking about what their opponents are going to do leads them to the very rational conclusion that they should, in fact, steal. Which can be just mind-boggling for students to grasp. But let's go back and let's look at Horatio and Alberto and see what they do. Now, I laid out the first 4 questions to help us do the 5, 6, and 7, the 5th, 6th, and 7th question. So what is Albert's dominant strategy? So these are Albert's decisions here for 1 and 2 because he thinks about what Horatio does. And you notice, no matter what Horatio does, Albert should add a new trick. So, the dominant strategy for Albert is that he should add the new trick. Add new trick. And I'm going to change, just make this a little smaller here. So I just did a little thing here. So no matter what Horatio does, Albert should always choose add new trick because he ends up with the best outcome by always choosing to add the trick. So for Albert, he has a dominant strategy of adding the new trick. But let's look at Horatio's choices here. Horatio's choices are represented in 3 and 4. If Albert chooses add, Horatio says no new trick. If Albert chooses no new trick, Horatio chooses to add. So what we see here is Horatio has no dominant strategy. Because his choice varies depending on Albert's choice. So sometimes Horatio does adds and sometimes he doesn't. It depends. So he has no dominant strategy whatsoever. Okay? So now try 5 and 6 on page number 4 and see how you do. Try that now.